Hey guys. All right. So, oh my goodness. All right. So, what is going on, guys? I wasn't gonna do. This was kind of a spur of the moment over the last couple days, but I have to work tomorrow through Wednesday, so I wasn't sure. Like not knowing my schedule after that, it's like okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go live now and or tonight and well, so it's Saturday, when I was thinking about it. Anyway, my brain's not fully with me. I'm tired. Ugh. Mm, yeah. So, I do have some video stuff to cover. I also want to let you guys know, thank you guys actually for really getting on the channel and checking it out and especially the first video I've done of the new series. The new series is really going good. I got the fourth part up there today. Um, those are just uh, of yeah, I'm brain dead right now. I'm tired, is what I am. Yeah. Those 4 videos are the ones I did the other day when I was having problems with the internet. And come to find out, I totally brain farted there for a minute. Come to find out, T-Mobile was having internet outages that day, so that explains why there was such a problem. I'm gonna go ahead and share the live real quick. Oh my gosh. I am very tired right now. Like, it just hit me. I'm, like, really tired. But I've also been focusing on the website today quite a bit. How rude. Okay, I'm gonna share that to Facebook. Amy. Oh, she might want to check it out. Huh? And I'm gonna look up my other child. Christian. I am so tired right now. Try to get this out there. Alright, sorry about that. Yeah, so there have been some extra things going on. Um, quite a bit actually. 271 views. That's awesome, actually. Yeah. We are going to just get right into what has been going on. And one of the reasons that prompted me to do this, because there have just been some things that have just been going on this week that are like, I mean, it is actually imperative that, oh my gosh, apparently I need to go to bed. 4 weeks ago. Why is that even on there? That's so weird. All right, okay. You know what? I'm going to jump. Huh. Crazy farm life. Okay, so I'm so tired.
Russia and China.
All right, shush it. Okay. This goes back 3 days ago. This is actually what prompted me to do this. One of the things that prompted me to do this tonight. This is a red alert from Full Spectrum Survival. China furious. This is real. The reason Donald Trump took over Venezuela. So I don't really. Everybody has their own opinion. Okay. I'm not really going to try to get into who likes or doesn't like who, because it's not the purpose of this. The purpose is to let you guys know what's going on and why it's so imperative to get your homesteads planned. Get your, if you're at the very beginning, I've started that series. How do you become fully self-sufficient? Is it possible? Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. And I've started that series and it's taken off. So please check it out. And that series is going to be ongoing. It's going to cover a lot of material. And we're really going to get into it. I might even add one of the things to it tonight. So.
The reasoning behind the Donald Trump takeover of Venezuela. The United States of America capturing and bringing to justice Nicolas Maduro has been a little bit lost in the noise of mainstream media. Their narrative is made to go viral, not to explain what actually happened or the reason behind it. Their only goal is to hide the real power play behind this movement. It's not just about narco-terrorism. It's not about contraband, smuggling, or even the oil. It's about China, the People's Republic of China, and the Chinese Communist Party. It's a long-term project to displace American influence across the globe. The United States didn't just swoop into Caracas on a whim. President Trump's operation was a calculated move that crippled the Chinese Communist Party's influence and one of its most important footholds in the Western Hemisphere. Now, what we are seeing is a look at how China reacted immediately after this raid that America sent in. Beijing's top diplomats, from the foreign minister all the way down to the bottom, condemned the U.S. operation as an illegal movement, reminiscent
keep doing
of
that?
acting as the judge against the world. Chinese state media, their diplomatic media team raced to defend Maduro. They called out Trump and the USA, even as the Chinese president. China's interests are the ones at stake. I want you to make no mistake with this. This operation, performed by Donald Trump, was personal for Beijing. For more than 20 years now, China has been building what is seen by strategists as an extensive web of economic and political ties with Venezuela. Caracas, one of the first Latin American capitals to enter into what Beijing has called an all-weather or bellwether strategic partnership. They did this in direct cooperation with the Chinese Communist Party. That wasn't a ceremonial title. It signified an economic and military integration, loans, oil for credit, infrastructural agreements, and resource access. Venezuela became China's biggest borrower in the region with tens of billions of dollars that were directly tied to not current oil shipments. Now, when we saw Hugo Chavez first opening the door to China, especially to Beijing, this was framed across the world as economic development. But the Chinese Communist Party doesn't make billion-dollar deals without geopolitical intent. Their meaning was to get a foothold into Caracas, a foothold
Sorry, I was
into
trying to get it
America's
out there.
sphere of influence itself.
Oh, I am tired, you guys.
And here is why many reporters or the mainstream that we're seeing don't say this. This wasn't an accidental partnership between China and Venezuela. This was a strategic military move. Venezuela's oil, its location, its political alignment, these were all assets to China's military ambition. Having a partner like Caracas give Beijing a voice in Latin American oil markets, in the diplomatic
part
bloc,
one
even in international
of the new
forums,
series, How Do You Become Fully Self-Sufficient,
the United States and the United Nations
is
was
already up to
pivotal movement
212
to Chinese
views.
president.
So
That's
it's
what
doing
made
pretty
this
good.
operation just a few short days ago in the grand scheme of things so devastating for China. It didn't just embarrass Maduro. It dented China's projection of their own power into a region that America has traditionally considered as its backyard. From Washington to Florida's Miami to Bogota, capitals are recalibrating their assessment of China's reach, China's resolve, and China's ability to militarily declare movement in the region. We have to be very clear on this. This was not a one-off. This is a moment in a broader contest, a geopolitical face-off between freedom and authoritarianism, between the United States of America and a revisionist China. It's what many Republican strategists have been calling, or have now started calling, the Cold War 2.0. Again, we have to make zero mistakes about what has happened. President Trump's decision was not just slapped together after watching cable news like it looked like our previous presidents have done. This was deliberate, an execution of national security priority. Now, the critics that are against it have tried to paint what happened as a shift away from China. They said that Trump cares more about Latin America. That's nonsense. The opposite is true. The U.S. movement on Venezuela was part of a comprehensive counter-China strategy, not a diversion.
Okay, I'm not going to go through this whole thing.
It has the resolve deny or cut off a resource stream from China that leveraged political and Chinese economic stability. So when we look at things that were said by the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, when he said the goal isn't Venezuelan oil for the sake of consumption, but for the prevention of America's adversaries to be able to control it, especially when those adversaries are already hostile to U.S. interests, the goal was dominance. And that's the pivot that many in Washington are starting to miss. It's not the oil, it's the leverage. If Beijing controls Venezuelan oil, it's able to influence global markets. It can reward its allies and punish its enemies. It can wield energy dependence as a weapon without firing a bullet. And America can't
I'm
afford that,
trying
especially
to find.
tens of billions of dollars in loans tied up in a collapsing economy. Even before Trump pushed that.
Okay. That was kind of the first thing that hit me on stuff going on. We're going to go to a different one here. Think about it. The moment it hit me like a sledgehammer, we're already living in the dystopia. Hi, guys!
All day. Slaves used to work all day, every day, with no pay. But they got free food, water, shelter. Today, we work all day, nearly every day, get paid. Money we make, we spend on food, water, and shelter. We're still slaves. The only thing that has changed is the illusion of freedom.
Hi, Steve here. Yesterday, when I went outside, shocking awareness was like a lightning strike hit me. And I became just instantaneously aware that this dystopia that seems like we live in is real.
Yeah.
It's not a movie.
Nope.
We see the skies, we see the chemtrails, we see everything that's been going on, especially since 2019. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. The awareness, the realization that we truly are living in the last days.
Governments
We
around
are.
the world are all becoming tyrannical all at the same time. This is being done on purpose. This is called order out of chaos. In the same way they did this during COVID, where almost every government around the world walked in lockstep with the exact same agenda to essentially push enslavement on their people until people finally woke up and realized what was being done to them.
This is
After
why
many
it's
people
so
were
important.
convinced to take a medical experiment just because someone in authority told you it was safe and effective, and now we see the detrimental harm that it's done. They create
People are
order out of
dying.
chaos. They manufacture crisis events.
Yep.
Create chaos, then they can bring order out of that chaos. Problem, reaction, solution. You create a problem. You invoke the reaction that you need from the people, who will then beg you to give the solution for the very same problem they created.
Yep.
From COVID to mass immigration to
Yep.
the digital ID, all this is being used to convince people that it's good for them to acquiesce
not.
to their own enslavement. I don't care if you believe the right or the left is looking out for you. Both sides are walking in the exact same direction, and the exact same boot will be placed on your neck, and you won't even notice until you can't breathe and it's crushing your neck. That's how this goes. They've done this in history before, and it's killed millions of people. You're not acquiescing.
That is why it's so important. So important to start working on a way to homestead no matter where you are. And it is absolutely possible to do that. Can you start a homestead no matter where you are? Yes, you absolutely can. You absolutely can. Okay. See if this will pop mine up. Oh. Interesting. So I found one that I hadn't saved, and I'm surprised I didn't. It was on Off-Grid with Brad and Kelly from Full Spectrum Survival. That was a while ago, though. Could you start a homestead? I don't remember the full title of it. I'm hoping it'll just pop it right up. It's been so long since I've done that, though. I'd have to actually look for it. Just want to talk to you guys for a little bit here. This week I kind of wanted to get into showing you guys some of the places that I'm getting homesteading information from, what I'm doing with it, where I'm putting it, and how I'm planning on using it. This is the first one, and it's a PDF that I have saved on my phone. It's called How to Start a Homestead No Matter Where You Live. It's from the Homestead Survival site. It was written in 2020. It's posted on homesteadsurvivalsite.com. And this is one of their really old ones. Yeah, there's a ton of information in here. I'll show it to you here. How to start a homestead. And how to start a homestead no matter where you live. At least I know that'll be flipped around on the video. Found that out the last time. Just give you a little information here on what kind of information is in here. There's an introduction, adapting to the homestead mindset, growing your own groceries, which is number one reasons for homesteading. If I look very bundled up, it's because and they list chickens, goats, and rabbits. Two other ones that are listed as, actually 3 other ones that are listed as very good starters for a beginning homesteader are ducks, geese, and quail. Quail being kind of a number 1 first recommended bird for beginning homesteaders, along with chickens. I might do some more on like the best apothecary to start a homestead with. It goes over the top 12 healing herbs to grow. I might include that in the series. Immune system booster, natural flu shots. I have never ever gotten a flu shot in my entire life. Never will. I usually do not get sick. I haven't had vaccines since I was a child. Once in a while, so I'm not going to get into that one either. Not on here. Anyway, maybe once we have our own website, I'll post raw videos on there that aren't going to get Speaking of the website, I am working on getting our main website up. We're gonna end up with 2 of them. Hold on, let me refresh this. We're gonna end up with 2. Websites. One of them is going to be our store, and the other one is going to be our main site. Okay. What? Okay, so it already created it then. Shoot. I messed up. All right. Now I'm going to share this real quick. All right.
We asked for your own enslavement.
Hold on, guys. I'll let this play.
People say no, they want to create laws against hate speech because they hate what you're saying. They don't like the fact that people are speaking out and waking up to the fact that these politicians are all richer than they've ever been. Doesn't matter what side you align with, they're all corrupt. They're all being used to push the exact same agenda. The government wants to control every part of your life. From what you say to what you think to where you can go. They want to monitor everyone's behavior and convince you that you should think the way that they want you to think. They want to gaslight you to believe that there is a such thing as hate speech. Hate speech is free speech. It's the freedom to be able to say what you think, when you want. And if somebody disagrees, well, too bad, because I will fight to the death for your right to say it, even if I disagree. We should be monitoring and surveilling every single politician, everywhere they go, everything they do. But yet they're doing this to us. We should know where the money's going. Why are they all richer than they've ever been as we are more poor than we've ever been? This is all being done on purpose. The communist New World Order that they need to implement is the idea they need to bring everybody to the same poverty level. Hence why they're flooding our countries with millions and millions of foreigners who don't really contribute and will just acquiesce to their own enslavement. That's why they need to get rid of white people, because throughout history, we're the ones that fight back against these type of agendas. So you better wake up and realize united non-compliance is our only way out.
The elite rulers of this strategy known as
All right, sorry guys.
order out of chaos. It's from the Latin ordo ab chaos, a concept rooted in Hegelian dialects and often summarized as the problem, reaction, solution formula. This method is simple yet devastatingly effective. First, they manufacture or exploit a major crisis, the problem, which generates widespread fear, division, and desperation among the masses, the reaction. Then they step forward with a pre-planned fix, the solution. that advances their long-term agenda. Typically greater centralized control, reduced freedoms, and expanded surveillance. Measures that would never be accepted under normal circumstances. This pattern repeats relentlessly. Engineered pandemics spark demands for mandatory tracking and digital health passes. Economic collapses or cyber attacks fuel calls for unbreakable digital currencies and AI managed systems. Social unrest and geopolitical tensions justify emergency powers and data sharing grids. Each manufactured storm erodes privacy, sovereignty, and individual autonomy while building a technocratic framework where technology, AI, biometrics, algorithms, dictates life itself. A striking modern example is the visible alignment of major tech billionaires around figures like Donald Trump. In recent years, we've seen Silicon Valley titans Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, and others donating massively, attending key events, and influencing policy. They flock to this orbit not out of pure ideology, but because it accelerates the technocracy. Loosened AI regulations, fast-track data centers, cryptocurrency approvals, and export policies that fuel global digital dominance. These savior billionaires help construct the very grid, surveillance states, neural interfaces, centralized AI that will enforce the new order. What appears as chaotic political theater is in reality coordinated progress toward a unified system of control. Most people remain unaware of the deeper stakes. This emerging dystopia.
Okay, sorry, I was checking something out on the website.
Seductive tech comforts. Is it
Okay, one of the things, a new website, it is straight up for blogs, articles, what it actually came up with, so welcome to Faith First Farm, your resource for gardening, homesteading, and a healthier lifestyle. And it even says Leslie, Michigan. We share information, ideas, and videos to help you grow your own food and create a sustainable lifestyle. Join us on our journey to rediscover the skills of our ancestors and build a healthier future one garden at a time. This is all. I'm also going to include on here the videos and the posts and stuff of us fixing things in the house. Oh, it says about Faith First Farm. Faith First Farm Garden and Homestead is located in Leslie, Michigan, and is dedicated to sharing the knowledge of raising and growing your own food. We aim to teach others how to replicate the homesteading and farming practices of our ancestors, promoting self-sufficiency and a healthier lifestyle through natural homegrown products. And there's really like nothing to click on right now, because blogs and articles, I need to do that one. I need to do about Faith First Farm, gardening guides. There's homesteading skills and then video tutorials. So there's going to be all of that included in it, and it's going to take some work. I mean, the website exists, but there's really not much on it right now. So the store, there's actually more on that. And I probably could have included the two. It's just, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to be really paying that much. I'll be paying $42. It's not that bad. I mean, if I divide that by, oh my gosh, I'm so tired, you guys. I'm extremely tired. About $11 a paycheck, so it's really not that big of a deal. With $3 left over, you know what I mean? So whatever. Yeah, but there's going to be a lot of information on that, and a lot of things that, you know, you can go to learn and that kind of thing. So I'll even add like recipes and stuff like that to it. So it's really cold in here. But all right, here we go.
Just about earthly power.
Ugh, I am just really tired.
At the end of it, the world was a completely different place to what it was before. The Second World War. The world again, the status quo as was no more, and that post-Second World War system has pretty much bubbled along. But now we're looking at the end game. The end game that was planned all along, whereby artificial intelligence takes over the human mind. The current status quo has to go to allow that to happen. And that's what we're looking at.
Cold.
We're not looking at the end of the globalist world order. We're looking at the next stage of it. Because how it works is this. You have this global cult that operates through government, through corporations, NATO, the BRICS alliance, all these different areas that appear to be unconnected are actually connected.
I remember at Trump's inauguration where we've seen all these tech billionaires there. There's a reason for that, and I'm going to show you why. In the 1930s, there was this thing called the technocracy movement. It was a social movement active in the United States and Canada. This movement favored technocracy as a system of government over representative democracy and partisan. Musk has been talking about this as well.
We have our heater
Mars
on.
colonization. But do you know who the leader of Technocracy Inc. was? It was this man right here. His name is Joshua Haldeman. He is the grandfather of Elon Musk. Now listen to this. Technocracy is the science of social engineering, the scientific operation of the entire social mechanism to produce and distribute goods and services to the entire population of this continent. Technocracy will distribute by means of a certificate of distribution available to every citizen from birth to death. The technate will encompass the entire American continent from Panama to the North Pole because the natural resources and natural boundary of this area make it independent. I hope this is starting to click. But the North American technate, where you see Greenland, Canada, the United States, Mexico, and Venezuela. That's not all. The technocratic movement planned to reform the work schedule to achieve the goal of uninterrupted production, maximizing efficiency and profitability of resources, transport, entertainment facilities, avoiding the weekend effect.
By the way, guys,
about that, according to the movement's calculations, it would be every citizen worked a cycle.
I have been off pop 7 days. Finally did it a week. I'm going to keep on going. Even if I go out to eat, which is going to be a challenge, but I can do this. I have to do this. I have to stay away from the pub. And I have lost, I don't know exactly how much I've lost, but I'm down to 178. Technically, from where I started out, because originally I started out at 198, I have actually lost 20 pounds. I can't really see it because I have like a lot collected in front, but I'm actually down one set to 178, so it's gonna keep going. And I probably did that just with when I was going over to the nutrition club. I just don't have the money to go get any more shakes. I'm gonna try to order some this week. Hey, I can take all the help I can get right now, so. And I love my Herbalife shakes. So.
Followed by 3 days off, which sounds good until you start really digging. Here comes the price system. It came up with energy.
I had to put some toe warmers in my.
Which would have a table with the information of a citizen's identification, age, sex, occupation, location, energy allotment, and purchases made. And it would be called an energy distribution card. And here is what they proposed decades ago. And for some reason, the duality symbol's there. But you also see the chip, the universal identity card. And they have rules with these cards. There would be equal allotments of energy. Citizens cannot trade or give away certificates. They can only spend energy at verified vendors. Once a purchase is made at the vendor, the energy used is made void. And the certificates have an expiration date. Once again, no citizen can hoard energy. And certificates are directly tied to an individual's ID. Therefore, it cannot be stolen or used by someone else. From the outside, that would sound really good. Now, back then, the computer wasn't used much, but they wanted to use an energy certificate and Dewey Decimal System. They could track computation. The IBM computers were exactly the kind of devices a CAS would want to deploy. Well, wouldn't you know, they have that now. But they knew that one of the big troubles with all of this is that your computers is going to do away with your accountants and your engineers. And it is also going to do away with your executives as well as blue collar and white collar jobs. So Elon Musk has come up with something for this. He predicts AI will create universal high income. It probably won't be income. It will be energy, because our economy is about to crash. And that's probably the plan. So here comes Greenland. We'll probably have Venezuela soon, but Trump wants Greenland now too. Billionaires dream of building utopian.
This is all part of the digital ID, you guys.
Freedom City.
Stay away from it.
Corporate.
So I'm saying, get your gardens, get your stuff planned, get your homesteads planned, get your gardens planned. I'm working on our plans right now.
It's really cool. The massive energy extensive AI data centers, plus large deposits of critical and rare earth materials buried beneath the island's ice sheets, could also potentially be used to manufacture consumer electronics. America is destroying itself because of politics, and everybody is just letting this happen.
Yeah.
We are literally watching them do this plan. Y'all remember when Trump said you don't have to vote anymore after this time? Well, if this plan works, there won't be politicians. Tech billionaires will own and run different parts of America.
But you have to get out and vote. And again, Christians, get out and vote just this time.
Created it, and now Trump and him are going to implement it. They were talking about this plan decades ago. These Christians heard about it and wrote this book about it, pretty much saying that this is what was going to bring about prophecy, and it will one way or another. We read in Daniel that Nebuchadnezzar had a dream, and it was about a statue, and the toes were the last kingdom, which would be the revived Roman Empire with 10 kingdoms. If we look at the Club of Rome's map, it's 10 kingdoms, pretty similar to Trump's plan. And Justin Trudeau said that he was going to step down. The next day, Trump called saying that they should be the 51st state. Do you see?
I want to include garden beds for
to see what is actually happening.
The whole family. Like, even people I consider family.
You just turn your head because you just don't want to believe it. You don't want to believe that every politician is the same. But the truth is, they all are working for one goal. If you are a Christian, you already know what is going to happen. There is not going to be a golden age. Take a look.
And the 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings. These persons have not yet received royalty, but they receive authority as if kings with the beasts of prey for 1 hour or a moment. They have one mind, and they will give their power and authority to the beast of prey. They will make war upon the Lamb, and the Lamb will vanquish them, because he is master of masters and king of kings, and these with him are called and chosen.
Around America looks like it's about to fall, and it's all by design to bring in
faithful.
This
Revelation 17, 12 to 14.
In Jesus Christ. Not a man.
From a biblical perspective, it aligns eerily with ancient prophecies.
Yep.
The books of Daniel and Revelation describe a final global empire marked by deception, economic exclusion. No one can buy or sell.
We're there, you guys. We're totally there. This is why this is so important. Get your homesteads and get your house in order. Get your homesteads going, get your gardens going, and you can homestead no matter where you are. No matter where you are. Go back through and watch the series I did. I'll see if I can link the whole thing to this video. I don't know if I can do it tonight or not. I'll do that. I mean, I'll try. It'll definitely be available like within a few days on this video. So go back through and watch that.
Without the mark, and ultimate spiritual tyranny. Daniel's visions of iron and clay kingdoms and Revelation's beast system point to a technocratic world government that persecutes the faithful and exalts a figure or force embodying ultimate rebellion against God, the Antichrist. Yep. The chaos isn't random. It's engineered to birth this order. As crises multiply and solutions tighten their grip, the veil thins daily. The technocracy rising isn't mere progress. It's
it's not.
End times fulfillment, where human
it's here. It's absolutely here.
I was thinking today about how Jesus said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do."
I love this.
Look at the world today, and so many people out there, and they don't know what the hell they're doing. They're out there, they're protesting for these causes, these things, and they're putting themselves in these positions, and somebody gets hurt.
Yeah.
People get hurt. And the social media content creators out there who are stoking the flames and spinning stories and narratives, and the media organizations riling people up, and bad decisions get made. People get out of their head, they get into their feelings, they're offended, and the emotions run high, and they make bad decisions, and somebody gets hurt. You know, the enemy, he poisons the hearts and the minds of so many people, and chaos ensues. Chaos ensues, violence happens. This is where we're at in the world today. And I pray for so many people, everybody out there who doesn't know who Jesus Christ is, because Jesus is the only one that can settle your heart, calm your emotions, bring that fire under control. Understand that you're being lied to in everything in this world, that Jesus is the only truth. He is the only one that's going to lift the veil so that you can see this world for what it really is. I pray that for everybody out there. Find Jesus, because this world is going to continue to fall into anarchy, into disarray, into chaos.
Awareness is the first step. Resisting through faith, discernment, and refusal to comply is the path forward. The last days aren't approaching. They're unfolding now. Hidden in plain sight. Think about it.
Okay. So I'm going to go into more of this messed with by YouTube, but I'm not going to get into that one. Okay, and then turmeric bombs, turmeric golden milk, turmeric healing poultice, preserving food, canning, dehydrating, smoking, salting, pickling, freezing, and freeze drying. Okay, salting, I do believe, I haven't gotten to that section yet, but I do believe that under salting is going to go over a little bit of fermenting, which I have a lot to learn on that yet, but I am going to work on getting the small doses, 50-pound buckets of the Redmond's real salt this year and work on some fermenting. So I'm going to be putting that on the channel as well and on the website. Alternatives, collecting rainwater, which that's exactly how we're going to be getting most of our water, aside from the little creek that runs on our property. Under collecting rainwater, it's rainwater collection barrel, rainwater barrel setup and checklist, rainwater collection tips, using the collected rainwater, and then upcycling and do-it-yourself projects, changing your mindset, top 10 homesteading tools, and then mentors and partners, and it goes into homesteading mentors and partnerships. And I wanted to go into a little bit of it with you guys, and just kind of so I can spread this information out there and try to start helping people get that mindset and understand a little bit of what homesteading is, or what it can be, rather, or things that can be included in homesteading. You don't have to do everything to be considered a homesteader. Even if you just grow a few things in small containers, that's still homesteading, even if it's just a little bit. And even a little bit is better than nothing. It's healthier than buying that stuff from the store. So you're still helping yourself out by every little bit that you do. And then add a little bit more as you go along. As soon as you can, add a little bit more. And that's what we've had to do down here, because we had to leave everything up in Michigan and just basically having to start over from scratch. Now, at some point, that actually sucked, to be honest. At some point, we'll be able to get our stuff down here. I'm saving back some money right now to send our son probably $200 or $300 to send down quite a bit of our stuff. So I'll have my homesteading. I'll have my homesteading books, my binder that I started where I have a lot of homesteading pins written out. I even have recipes written down from Off Grid with Doug and Stacy's site. Be nice if I really love their ranch dressing. I've done their shrubs. I've done the haymaker's punch. I'm gonna get back into making a couple of other things they have on their site that I've made that are really good. I have gotten off onto an unhealthy kick, and I'm getting back out of it. So I'm trying to get back into doing that, doing some of those things again, but can't use our tap water for it, so it's kind of, we're having to stock up on like distilled water and purified water. When I can get out to the property, I'm going to take all our empty water jugs and fill them with water from our creek. So anyway, so just to get into this a little bit, I really like how it starts out, and I'll just read a little bit of it to you because I really like how it's worded, and they're really trying to reach out to people. So here we go. This is the introduction. And it says, do you ever sit and think about what it would be like to live on your dream homestead? I'm sure plenty of you guys have had like grandparents, maybe even your parents or great-grandparents. Obviously, great-grandparents were homesteaders. Grew everything, raised up. Grandparents were too, for the most part. Okay. I'm not going to play that whole thing because we have a lot more to talk about and to do, but I'm going to link all of these. I'm going to try to link all of those on or add like at least the video cards to it, so. All right.
Was gradual.
Not gonna play this whole thing.
Here's the most chilling part.
I believe the progress that we have made.
This is scary, you guys.
Sets us up well for the new world.
Oh, it's January 16th, and it's cold everywhere. So I pray for all of you that you're keeping warm as much as possible wherever you are, because if it's this cold down in Southwest Florida, I know what it must be like up north, especially Canada. Hi, Steve here. There is a verse in Scripture that most churches avoid, most pastors skip, and most people have never seriously wrestled with it. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 11 says this: for this reason, God sends them a strong delusion so that they may believe the lie, not might believe the lie, will believe it. This verse is not about cover all
of these I have written down, but
it's not about judgment, psychological judgment. I believe we are watching it happen in real time in the United States of America. Notice what the verse does not say. It does not say God tricks people. It doesn't say God deceives the innocent. It says God sends a delusion
Yep.
after truth is rejected. Earlier in the chapter, Paul explains that these people refused to love the truth. This matters. A strong delusion is
And
not
our
ignorance.
country has been.
It's not a lack of information. It's the inability to process reality, even when evidence is everywhere. In other words, people can see chaos, instability, lies, corruption, and still insist everything is basically fine.
Mhm.
This is not normal reasoning. That is judgment. Psychologists have a term for this: normalcy bias. Normalcy bias causes people to underestimate danger and assume tomorrow will look like yesterday, even when warning signs are overwhelming. It's why people stayed in their homes during floods. It's why citizens ignored signs before economic collapses. It's why populations dismissed warnings before genocides. Normalcy bias whispers, this can't happen here. Things have always worked out. The system would never let that
And
happen.
how many times have you heard people say that?
Connect this to scripture.
And I know no one's in the house, and I'm sorry
It
if
doesn't need lightning or fire.
you're thinking, oh,
Simply allows
same
people to
old, same old.
comfort
You know,
over
you
truth.
need to actually listen to
In
it.
America,
You need to take the time to actually listen. Because this stuff is important. It's very important.
Ana winds, the Santa Ana winds, September, October. I don't remember any in January. And we used to call them forest fires. That's what they were called. Now they're residential fires.
Yeah, I hear wildfires, but I don't hear the word forest anymore.
That's
Maybe
right.
because the forest isn't burning. Whatever it was, 7 years ago, I saw some photos up north in Santa Rosa, which didn't make any sense to me. 4,700 homes disappeared, turned to white ash. But what I saw was trees up and down every street and between houses. Didn't work well for me at all, and I was flabbergasted. So I went up there and changed my whole world. I had a lot of viewers that didn't understand what a normal forest fire looks like. This is as pretty normal as I can find. I believe I took this one 3-4 years ago, northeast of Mount Lassen, the volcano. This is the way they should look, especially a firestorm. Leave hardly anything, blackened poles and limbless. I think some of these bushes have grown in for a year or two. But take a good look at this, folks. This is the way they're supposed to look. You can walk through here and not even run into a tree. They burn up.
Yep.
These are the conifers, the red, white firs, the ponderosa pines, the Jeffreys, and a slew of other trees. They shouldn't look like this. This is Santa Rosa in 2017.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense either.
Yet the trees remain, and most of them are green. To me, I would think that's impossible. But there's the picture and the proof. And that didn't work well for me when I found this photo. So I went up there and spent the whole day, and nothing added up.
Yeah, I apologize, you guys, if this was kind of sprung on you guys. Like I said, I work tomorrow through Wednesday, so couldn't really plan on tomorrow or Monday to do it. I close Monday. I close tomorrow night. I work 2 to 10 Tuesday and Wednesday, so I can't really,
In Greenville, Maui, Australia, also Greece and Portugal, and all over the world. Just everywhere.
Let's talk plainly. What we're experiencing is not random incompetence. It is managed instability, open borders without enforcement, endless foreign wars with no victory, debt levels that mathematically cannot be repaid, the erosion of national sovereignty, the destruction of trust in elections, media, medicine, money, and institutions. Any one of these could be alarming. All of them together point to something else. History shows that centralized power always rises through chaos, never through stability, never through prosperity. Crisis creates permission. And the unsettling truth is this: many of the people driving policy openly say they want the current system to collapse so it can be rebuilt. That's not conspiracy. This is public record.
Yeah.
Yet millions of Americans still believe retirement will be fine, the dollar will hold, the system will correct itself.
No,
someone in charge has it under control. That belief is the delusion. America's collapse is not just political or economic. It is spiritual.
Yep.
We have redefined truth as personal preference, replaced God with a state, science, or self, mocked repentance, called evil good and good evil. A nation cannot do this indefinitely and remain stable. Throughout Scripture, when a people harden themselves against truth, God eventually stops restraining the consequences. Romans 1 calls this being given over. Second Thessalonians calls it strong delusion. Different words, same judgment. And once a society reaches that stage, the collapse feels sudden because the blindness was gradual. Here's the most chilling part. Most people watching this video are not starving. The lights are still on. The shelves are still stocked. Entertainment is endless.
Yeah.
And that is exactly why the danger is underestimated. Collapse doesn't announce itself politely. It accelerates. Empires don't fall when people expect them to. They fall when denial is deepest. Right before the fall, people say, this is just a rough patch. We've been through worse. It can't hold.
What are people saying right now?
It is not optimism. It is delusion.
The moment that Charlie Kirk was killed, law enforcement and the corporate media, the influencer class, the government at every level, and of course, members of Turning Point USA themselves have tried to steer all of us in a direction in which we will never learn the truth. These people desperately
she's presenting, explaining. She's very comfortable, extremely. Like,
well, there are 18 critical infrastructures in the United States: food, water.
This company, who cares? But my children need my time and attention, especially when they're young. I'm saying it just doesn't feel coincidental anymore. And I'm allowed to have that theory. Okay, because I know people get very upset about this. You can't say anything. What I'm getting to, though, is this isn't really about Eric Kirk. It's about what?
Yeah, see, this is, I dare say, part of the delusion. I think he says that. Yeah, he says that.
to cover up what the really happened to Charlie Kirk on September 10th at UVA.
This video
It
is
wasn't
not
to go
meant to
through all
spread
that.
fear. Fear paralyzes, truth prepares. The purpose of Scripture is not to scare. It is to wake up those who still can wake up.
Yep.
2 Thessalonians 2:11 is a warning, not a threat. If you can still question the narrative, if you can still feel something is wrong, if you can still recognize lies as lies, that means you're not under the delusion yet. But time matters. Nations do not get infinite chances, and neither do individuals. The question is not whether America will change. The question is whether you will see clearly before it does. For this reason, God sends them a strong delusion so that they may believe the lie. The most dangerous lie is not the one you're told. It's the one you're comfortable believing, like the earth is a globe chasing the sun at 1,036 miles an hour, or that Jesus was just a great historical prophet, like some religions talk
I've
about.
never believed just
No,
that.
he is the Son of the living
I've
God.
always believed
He
that.
always was equal with God because he is his only begotten Son.
Yep.
If you don't have a relationship with Jesus Christ, the living God, Yeshua, HaMashiach,
Yep.
then ask him to forgive you of your sins. Repent, turn from your sin, and say, Jesus, I want you to be the Lord of my life. Come into my heart right now. I want you to be the Lord and Savior of my life. Save me. And if you do that with complete sincerity, you will be saved.
Yep, John 3:16. Um We're already in an hour. Because there are let's go down because I've gone through and watched quite a bit today. It was last night. Yeah, I was watching some stupid stuff last night. Can't find what I actually watched. Okay, watch me find it this way. No. This would have to be in this.
When the blackout hits, your biggest danger won't be strain.
Oh boy. So I'm gonna have to go to that playlist. Okay. Hmm. Trying to find one of the ones I really wanted to play. Go over with you guys. Like, I'm not even finding my face first for some reason. heck? See, that should not be like. Oh, come on. So weird. Okay. I found it. Sorry, you guys. I literally cannot find this other video. But here's this one.
If you only watch one prepping video in 2026, it should be this one. If I had to start from zero today, given inflation, global tensions, grid concerns, AI, and a divided country, these are the exact steps I would take to prepare my family. In a recent video, we covered the 10 pressures that are shaping 2026. Weather extremes, unstable grids, and water systems, food.
Okay. We're gonna get off from here.
Water systems, food and supply shocks, rising cyber threats, deepfakes, social unrest, geopolitics, strained healthcare, and declining local services. And these aren't predictions, they're already happening. Quick spoiler, this video is not about buying gear. This video is about solutions. Stick with me to the end, and I'll show you how to get a free guide and plug into our community so you're not figuring this out alone. So let's jump in. If you're new to this channel, my name is Chris, and on this channel we discuss emergency preparedness, aka prepping. I was introduced to the basic concepts of survivalism through scouting at a young age, and in my 20s, I got involved in humanitarian work in places like Mexico and Afghanistan. And for the past several years, I've taught preparedness to millions through my YouTube channel and also through our membership community. Now, over and over, I see the same pattern in preparedness. People, they feel global tension and they know they should act. Then they start researching. They watch a dozen videos. They scroll social media and quickly realize the information is scattered and contradictory. One person says to do this, another says do that, and none of it connects into a real plan. So what happens? Well, they get overwhelmed and they start buying random gear. They burn through hard-earned money on gadgets and buckets that look tactical, but still don't have enough water, a realistic way to cook in a power outage, a blackout plan, or anything written down for when things get ugly. Now, others know they need to prepare, but the more they scroll, the more confused they become. Every headline and alert, it raises anxiety. And with so much noise and conflicting advice, they freeze, not because they don't care, but because no one shows them how to turn all that information into a simple, usable sequence. Now, most people, they don't fail at prepping because they're lazy. They fail because the information is overwhelming and disconnected. And prepping, it doesn't have to be like that. You don't need a cabin, a bunker, although it'd be nice, or a six-figure budget. You just need a roadmap. Short-term survival first, then medium-term margin, then long-term self-sufficiency in a space that you already have. Add skills and community on top of that, and you're in a completely different place than most people. So let me walk you through what I would do if I were starting from zero in 2026. Now, before we get into the steps, I want to quickly explain why preparedness matters even more than it did just a few years ago. People sometimes say,
I don't know why I can't find
we
this.
always had bad weather, wars, recessions. What's different now? You're right. We've had all those things, but what's different is the stacking of everything. Global pressures are no longer isolated. Conflicts are changing shipping lanes, trade routes, fuel prices, fertilizer availability, and microchip supply, all which affect food systems and prices. Tariffs, they're not just a temporary policy. Trade blocks, they are hardening, and manufacturing is shifting, which usually means years of higher prices, not lower ones. Cyber disruptions have moved from theory to weekly headlines. Grid reliability is declining while weather volatility is increasing. Infrastructure maintenance and replacement are behind schedule in many areas. And this is not about predicting a world war. It's not about prepping for some massive outlier event like a volcano or asteroid. Building margin is about strengthening your resilience to face the most realistic threats and challenges you will face. It's about real pressures, and those pressures show up first in your grocery bill, your utility bill, and your time. Prepping in 2026 is not running from the world. It's about building that margin so your home bends instead of breaking. So when the world throws its worst at you, you still have options and time. So let's start with the first milestone, first 30 days. If I were to start preparing today, the first 30 days would not begin with buying gear. I would be honest about my risk and dependencies. And most people, they prep for whatever scared them in last night's headlines. Still, the disasters most likely to affect you are usually boring.
Welcome everybody, the new subscribers. Leave a comment on my videos.
Regional event that keeps stores empty.
Again, I apologize for,
guess what?
You know,
if you prepare for these likely scenarios, you'll
dropping on the live, but
I would write down 2 short lists. First, the most likely threats where I live. Earthquakes, hurricanes, winter storms, tornadoes, wildfires, floods, crime, or supply chain problems. Second, what my household depends on. Municipal water, the power grid, grocery stores, a single paycheck, prescriptions, internet, and digital payments. When you know what is likely to fail and what you rely on, you can build a targeted plan instead of buying random gear. And with that picture in mind, my first priority would be water. Most people, even some who believe they're pretty prepared for emergencies, they take for granted that when they open the tap, water will still pour out. Believe it or not, water is the easiest prep to get into place right now, but it's often the most overlooked. After disaster, dehydration, or water, my goal would be a 1-week supply for everyone at home, about 1 to 1.5 gallons per person per day, more in hot areas. And I would meet that with store-bought gallons, refill containers, and existing jugs, and build toward a 3-week supply over the month. And at the same time, I would add a reliable filtration method such as gravity, countertop, dependent solely on tap water. And that lesson hit home when I acquired this property where I'm filming here to create content for this channel. I have a well on it, and the well looked and smelled fine, but deeper tests showed the presence of uranium, benzene, phosphates, and other chemicals I really don't want in my body. It reminded me that many water sources, even municipal ones, contain acceptable levels of pollutants. And official limits, they change, but my acceptable limit is a big fat 0. That experience made me a firm believer in having your own water supply and filtration. Tap water may look clean, but safety and reliability are things that you can't outsource. And it's not just wells. After a flood or damage to the local system, your water can become unsafe long before any boil water notice is issued. Within our city prepping community, we built this into courses, a 1-week water plan, and complete water foundation training. If water is your weak point, those resources, they can help. But the first 30 days are focused on storing enough and ensuring you can produce more potable water. My second focus in this first month would be a 3-week pantry. Not freeze-dry buckets, but everyday foods my household actually eats. I would collect a few weeks of grocery receipts and spread them out, then rebuild diet, cost, and inflation better than any government report. Then I would start adding margin, buying shelf-stable food items, things like extra canned vegetables, beans, soup, or meat, additional rice.
The problem with that is there's no nutrition in them.
Salt and sugar, the ingredients that turn staples into mills.
I mean, if you can get enough to where you can make it to where you can get your gardens going.
Restaurants with a grid. The food and the supply shocks we talked about in the last video, they're not.
Get your seeds, you guys. Potatoes, soil.
Price spikes, rolling shortages, and the stress of not knowing what will be on the
No.
week. Why do that? I would build a basic margin in light and heat. A blackout is one of the most common disruptions nationwide.
No.
You don't have to solve the whole grid. You just need to keep your corner of the globe functional. And I would ensure that every person in the household has a reliable light source with spare batteries or a way to recharge it. I would add a backup method for boiling water and warming food that does not rely on the main power supply or natural gas in my home. And that could be something like a camp stove, a grill with a spare tank, a rocket stove, or another safe option for your particular situation. I would set aside blankets and layers dedicated to grid down use, so I'm not relying solely on a furnace that may not be available. And in that same 30-day window, I would start a small financial buffer. Inflation, it's its own disaster, but every dollar you get out of debt is a prep. My first goal would be to start building a small emergency reserve at home, even if it's something like $40 in small bills. From there, I would try to aim for and stretch toward covering a month of basic expenses over time. Now, the important part is the start. When payment systems glitch, when the bank app is down, or when a surprise bill hits in a bad month, that simple buffer becomes another form of margin. The last piece of the first 30 days would be a simple written family plan. 2 pages, not a binder. Where you meet if we cannot get home, what to do if cell towers are busy or down, who checks on which relatives or neighbors, how would we leave or get into our neighborhood if the main route is blocked. A plan like that is not about predicting every situation. It's about reducing confusion. Clarity lowers panic. A simple written plan is a peace of mind multiplier. If you did nothing else in the first month but build a week of water, push toward 3 weeks, build a 3-week pantry, add some light and heat, start a small cash buffer, and write that family plan, you would already experience the pressures of 2026 very differently than most people. If a disaster directly impacted you, it would be more of a blip than a life-altering event. 60 to 90 days. Now let's outline what I would do over the next 60 to 90 days. Once that first layer of margin is in place, I would focus on 4 things: communications, grid loss readiness, medical margin, and neighborhood awareness. In most disasters, most stressful part is not the disaster itself. It's not knowing what is happening or what will happen next. In the next couple of months, I would make sure that we have at least one radio in the house that can pick up AM, FM, and weather alerts. I would add a modest solar generator and a solar panel charging option. I would meet with my family and agree on one alternative channel for check-ins if regular texting fails. Maybe you say if phones are unreliable, we'll all try this app at the top of the hour. Or if everything goes quiet, we meet at this place at the time. You don't want to be inventing that plan while sirens are going off. We built an entire comms course around this idea within the city prepping community. We offer a digital preparedness course that addresses cyber risk and protects your information.
See, this is the
You do not need to become a radio expert in 90 days, but you should.
That's the kind of thing I want to offer on the website.
I would also deepen my readiness for grid loss. In practical terms, that means choosing a couple of meals that you can make entirely without power and actually cooking them. It means knowing how you will protect refrigerated food if the power is out for a day or two. Will you use coolers and ice? Are you going to cook through the most perishable items first? It also means scheduling.
I'm really going to look into us getting built this year is our smokehouse.
It's going to reveal gaps more clearly than it.
We got to get the basement cleaned out,
same 60
which I'm not looking forward to.
Medical preparedness. And I'm not talking about turning your garage into an emergency room triage center.
I just don't know if the basement is going to be a good place because
training if you can get it and enough daily medication for at least 30 to 60 days.
It's not dry out
Your
there.
family member relies on prescriptions. The healthcare system is already stretched in many places. Heat waves,
we might have to dehydrate our meat.
And local crisis, they all further strain it. And when you can handle the small
when there's
home,
no
you don't have to
power
into a system that may be already overloaded. In the city,
but I need to get my
offer a security course and content on medical basics business because your health.
I'm gonna look into actually making a dehydrator, solar dehydrator.
Should be moving in the right direction. After disasters, some people will find that a 6-foot tall wall is an insurmountable barrier. Health is a hugely overlooked prep, but it is one that you need to build over time. And the last part of these 90 days would be neighborhood awareness. And I'm not talking about forming a big formal group yet. I'm talking about knowing 3 neighbors by name.
I'm letting this video play because this is really important.
Say, hey, what are you seeing? What are you hearing? Do you need anything? During polarized and unstable times, good neighbors are really an asset. You don't have to overshare everything you're doing, but you should not be a complete stranger to everyone living around you. We built an entire course on mutual assistance groups and community building for this very reason. But it starts with one simple relationship on your own street.
And tonight, I think I'm actually going to get on my Facebook, both of them, and start
some grid down experience, some medical margin, and a couple of human connections nearby.
I can do that right now.
Now, let me step back to what I was
starting
on in my first book here. At this point, you might not have sustained yourself for a year solely, but you might have a downturn significant enough that a year supply is definitely something that you're going to want to have. If you're a year into a crisis, you're going to know the distinction that I'm talking about here. The big shift in the first year is moving from storing to producing. You need to be replenishing supplies and resources. Pressures that we talked about, like food shocks, rising costs, fragile supply chains, grid strain, they don't have to have the last word. You can make your home less of a liability, more of an asset. I would start turning my property into as much of a suburban homestead as a space. budget and local laws permit. And that might mean raised beds or container gardens on a patio. It might mean planting a couple of fruit trees or berry bushes. It might mean adding a small flock of chickens if it's legal where you live. And it might mean installing a rainwater catchment system or improving how you store and use water. You may not be able to produce and collect all the calories, water, and other resources that you need, and that's okay. But when you're at 90 days plus and heading into the rest of the year and beyond, you have to be supplementing your preps. And look, I want to be completely open.
Create a group.
My journey to grow more food has been a mix of wins and losses. In some seasons, the gardens have performed pretty well. In other seasons, it feels like everything that can go wrong does go wrong. And there have been times when the chickens produce plenty of eggs and times when, for various reasons, they did not. Those ups and downs, they've taught me something important. Long-term sustainability depends a lot on sourcing more locally and growing at least something you eat. But there are hundreds of lessons you only learn by actually doing it. Let me repeat that. There's a lot of lessons that you only learn by actually doing it. At one point, my garden was eaten up overnight, and this happened 2 different times. Rabbits got in and leveled them.
I've had that happen.
By sundown, and overnight, it became a buffet for pests and critters. That forced me to learn about fencing, netting, timing, and how many things want to eat your own food before you ever get a chance to harvest it. Lessons such as pickling, fermenting, cooking, baking, and other forms of food preservation and preparation, they're all the same. You can read about them and watch videos, but they become real when you work them into your everyday life. And you just can't simply buy a sealed bag of seeds and expect to throw them into the ground when the world falls apart and have everything come out together perfectly. You have to learn now while the stakes are lower and start weaving those skills into your normal routines. And this is the best way to build buffers and margins and insulate yourself from the big ups and downs of the world around us. Given its importance, we built several courses in the city prepping community around these concepts. There's even an introduction to growing your own food course, a gardening course, and the Suburban Preppers Homestead course that walk through exactly what we did on the city prepping community here that we've been showing on the channel over the last few years. We have a food and food storage course that covers storing, preserving, cooking, and fermenting. We offer a post-disaster cooking course so you can still cook safely and quietly when the grid is down. And those are so people can actually move these ideas from theory to practice. Now, along homestead work, I would focus on building skills and community in your first year. Cooking from scratch with the food you store, preserving extra food, practicing new skills, doing basic repairs, improving your first aid knowledge, learning how to use a radio, paying more attention to situational awareness when you're out, getting your body moving again if you've been sedentary. All of these you build over time, but each pays dividends in the long run. I would also take the time to write down a clear, simple plan and then execute it as a system. Write down your top risks, write down your goals for water, food, energy, medical supplies, security, communications, and community, and set milestones such as 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, and 1 year. Block off one small time slot each week to work on something.
No.
Maybe it's half an hour or a weeknight. Perhaps it's an hour on a Saturday morning. Every week you add a little, 1 extra can of food, 1 small project, 1 new skill, 1 conversation with a neighbor. And that's how you quietly move from being unprepared.
You're going to get yourself in trouble.
This is the logic that we built into the courses that we offer in our membership area and to all the classes in our community. Let me close this video by discussing what 2026 requires of us. 2026 is shaping up to be a year of friction, but it's not necessarily going to bring a guaranteed collapse or apocalypse. Instead, systems are strained, margins are thin, and pressures in weather, prices, grids, information, and communities are overlapping more than they used to. Preparedness is how you reduce friction in your home. Every extra week of food on your shelf, every backup light, every small stack of cash, every gallon of water stored and filtered, every backup way to cook, every skill you practice, every good neighbor you know by name, it gives you margin. And margin is what keeps you calm when others are scrambling. You don't have to fix.
I am working on creating a Facebook group for homesteading and gardening for in our area.
First thing I would do is to invite you to do something that's completely free. I put together a Start Preparing Survival guide and newsletter to help you build a strong foundation step by step. You can go to cityprepping.com/get started to download the free guide there. And you're going to be put on our email list where I break down current events in a calm way, share practical checklists and resources, and let you know when new trainings and courses open up. That email list is also where I'm going to first announce major updates like new course releases, so you don't miss them. If you want ongoing support and a clear path beyond the free materials, our City Prepping Community membership is for you. When you join, you get access to all the courses that I mentioned in this video and more.
Okay.
Those disaster cooking, the comms course, bug out, bag and bug out vehicle courses, 3-day, 3-week, 3-month courses.
All right. Sorry. Hold on. I'm gonna get off from there for a minute. That's the only way I can refresh it. Sorry, guys. If I could pause this, I would, but I can't. National Guard deployed to the streets. Chaos erupts. Of course it does. That's the one I just, okay. I'm gonna play a little bit of this one.
For the majority. However, panic is not the concept of an electromagnetic pulse attack has transitioned from the realm of speculative fiction into a genuine national security concern. Intelligence agencies have confirmed that the capability to unleash such an attack exists within multiple adversarial nations. A single strategic high-altitude detonation could effectively neutralize the power grid across the entire continental United States, potentially plunging the nation into a pre-industrial state for months or perhaps even years. The Congressional Commission assessing this threat estimated that up to 90% of the American population is woefully unprepared to navigate the catastrophic aftermath of a long-term nationwide blackout. The dependency on just-in-time supply chains, instantaneous communication, and electrified infrastructure is near total. When that infrastructure vanishes in an instant, panic will be the default reaction for the majority. However, panic is not an inevitable outcome if one possesses the knowledge and the will to act decisively. What follows is a comprehensive walkthrough of 11 critical actions that will draw a sharp line between those who are merely victims of circumstance and those who have the capacity to survive and endure when the grid goes permanently dark. These are not theoretical exercises. They are field-tested protocols designed for the harshest reality. The very first action required is to confirm with as much certainty as possible that you are indeed experiencing an electromagnetic pulse event rather than a standard utility failure. Localized power outages are commonplace, caused by everything from severe weather to aging infrastructure. Before you initiate full-scale emergency protocols, which involve drastic measures, you must verify the scope of the situation. Step outside your immediate environment and assess the surroundings. Is the darkness confined to your block, or does it extend as far as you can see? Are car alarms triggering randomly and simultaneously across the neighborhood due to fried electronic systems? Try to start your vehicle. If it is unresponsive, do not immediately assume the worst, but verify by checking a neighbor's vehicle as well. If multiple modern vehicles that were functional moments ago are now completely dead, that is a strong indicator. The definitive test, however, lies in your small electronics. A standard power outage does not affect battery-operated devices. Check your wristwatch, your battery-powered flashlight, or a portable radio. If these simple devices are functioning, it is likely a standard blackout. However, if your smartphone, laptop, modern vehicle, and battery-operated devices are simultaneously dead, not merely powered down, but completely unresponsive to any input, you are almost certainly facing a wide-scale electromagnetic event. This confirmation is crucial because your response strategy must shift immediately. A regular blackout calls for conservation and patience while awaiting utility crews. An electromagnetic pulse event demands the immediate activation of every survival measure you have planned, operating under the assumption that outside assistance will not be arriving for weeks or months. Understanding the scope in the first hour dictates your survival trajectory. Once the nature of the event is confirmed, securing a potable water supply becomes your absolute highest priority, superseding all other concerns. You have a very narrow window of opportunity, perhaps between 30 and 90 minutes, before municipal water taps run completely dry. City water systems rely heavily on massive electric pumps to move water from treatment plants to reservoirs and eventually to your home. When those pumps fail instantaneously, residual gravity and pressure in the lines will keep the water flowing briefly, but once it is gone, it will not return for a very long time. Do not hesitate. Immediately open every faucet in your home and begin filling every available container. Utilize large pots, pitchers, cleaned trash bins, buckets, and empty bottles. Your bathtub is an immense resource. A standard tub can hold approximately 50 gallons of water. Do not neglect your water heater tank, which sits in your basement or utility closet, holding another 30 to 50 gallons of drinkable water. Ensure you shut off the cold water intake valve on the heater first to prevent that clean water from siphoning back out into the municipal lines when the city pressure drops. Conservative estimate for survival is 1 gallon of water per person per day for drinking and minimal hygiene. If you manage to secure 50 gallons in that first critical hour, you have bought a family of 4 nearly 2 weeks of basic survival water. This immediate action provides a critical buffer while the rest of the population begins to panic over empty store shelves. Survival isn't luck, it's preparation. Don't get left in the dark. Hit subscribe now and join the few who will be ready when the grid goes down. You can worry about purifying questionable water sources later with boiling or chemicals, but you cannot manufacture water out of thin air once the pipes are empty. Simultaneously with securing water, you must address the perishable food in your home before it spoils. Your refrigerator and freezer have just transformed from preservation devices into insulated boxes that are slowly warming up. You have roughly 4 hours before food in the refrigerator enters the danger zone for bacterial growth. Your first move is defensive. Stop opening the fridge and freezer doors to check on things. Every time the door opens, cold air escapes and is replaced by ambient room temperature air, drastically accelerating the thawing process. Treat them like sealed vaults. Your second move is triage. Identify the most perishable items that need to be consumed immediately. Ground meats, dairy products, leftovers, and raw eggs should be cooked and eaten as your first meals. Do not try to save them. Consume them before they become a health hazard. Your third move involves protecting the freezer's contents. A fully stocked freezer will keep food frozen for approximately 48 hours if left unopened, while a half-full freezer might only last 24 hours. You can extend this time by filling empty spaces with jugs of water right now if you have any ice already made, or by insulating the outside of the appliance with blankets. If the event occurs during winter and outdoor temperatures are consistently below freezing, utilize nature's freezer by moving perishable goods outdoors into secured containers protected from wildlife. Dry goods and canned foods are secure, but anything requiring refrigeration is now your most vulnerable resource. The clock on spoilage began the moment the power died. Respect that clock or face the loss of critical caloric resources. The fourth critical action is to acquire as much physical currency as possible while it still holds conversational value. In the instant an electromagnetic pulse hits, the entire infrastructure of digital finance evaporates. Credit card processing machines, bank ATMs, point of sale systems, and mobile.
Sorry, I'm working on that. This is what it looks like. You can't even see it. This is what it looks like.
For the immediate future, your bank balance on a server somewhere is meaningless numbers. The only functioning currency will be physical cash and eventually barter items. Immediately locate every physical dollar in your possession. Check wallets, emergency hidden stashes, pockets of coats in the closet, and random drawers. Gather every bill and secure it on your person or in a hidden safe location. It is a stark reality that most individuals carry very little.
See if I can find the pictures of our chickens. I didn't mean to get totally quiet, you guys. I'm just working on the group on Facebook now.
Unable to purchase anything after the first few days, regardless of their theoretical wealth. It is
Let's see if I can get a hold of
all denominations, ones, fives, and tens. In a crisis economy where electronic verification is impossible,
I had to start saving cash.
Have the ability or willingness to
I've been really bad about saving money lately.
Purchase. Having a supply of small bills allows you to engage in commerce.
Gotta get really self-disciplined.
Small shops or with neighbors before a full barter economy emerges. Keep this cash hidden.
I'll admit, I've been really bad about that.
Have it ready for strategic acquisition of resources in the earliest days of the crisis. The fifth step involves assessing and, if necessary, disabling your vehicle's electronics. It is highly probable that modern vehicles will be rendered inoperable. Vehicles manufactured after the mid-1980s rely increasingly on complex computer systems, electronic control units, and digital fuel injection, all of which are highly susceptible to the intense burst of electromagnetic energy from a high-altitude detonation. Testing has suggested that a vast majority of vehicles on the road today would suffer critical electronic failures, turning them into 2-ton paper weights instantly. If your vehicle was turned off at the moment of the pulse, there is a slim chance some systems survived, but attempting to start it could induce a surge that finishes the destruction. If it is safe to do so, access your vehicle's battery and disconnect both terminals. This action isolates whatever electronics might remain from potential subsequent power surges on the grid or atmospheric static, allowing you to attempt a controlled assessment later. Conversely, if you own a vintage vehicle from before the era of computerized engines, specifically vehicles with points-based ignition systems and carburetors lacking sensitive solid-state electronics, you may still possess working transportation. Older diesel engines are particularly resilient. Understanding the state of your mobility immediately shapes your subsequent plans. If you cannot drive, you are committed to staying in your immediate locale, and your survival strategy must reflect that reality. Number 6 is the creation of Faraday protection for any critical electronic devices that may have survived the initial blast. Not every electronic device will necessarily be destroyed. Equipment that was powered off, unplugged from the grid, or fortuitously shielded by building infrastructure might remain functional. Your immediate priority is to protect these remnants from subsequent pulses or static discharges. A Faraday cage is simply a conductive enclosure used to block electromagnetic fields. You do not need a sophisticated laboratory to create one. Simple household items suffice. A common method involves using a metal trash can with a tightly fitting lid. The critical detail is to line the interior of the can with cardboard or cloth insulation to ensure that the electronic devices placed inside do not make direct contact with the metal walls. Direct contact creates a conductive path that defeats the shielding effect. Place items like emergency radios, spare batteries, flashlights, and perhaps an old ruggedized laptop inside, and seal the lid tightly. Another effective impromptu method involves heavy-duty aluminum foil. Wrap the device you wish to protect in a non-conductive layer like a towel or plastic bag, then completely encase it in 3 separate, distinct layers of aluminum foil, ensuring there are no gaps or tears in the foil. A working battery-operated AM/FM or weather radio could become your only link to information about the outside world. A functioning LED flashlight will be invaluable in a world without streetlights. Protecting these small force multipliers can significantly enhance your safety and psychological well-being. 7th, you must establish protocols for communication and reunification with your family without relying on modern technology. The instant the grid fails, the communication infrastructure connects.
In the event of an EMP,
cell towers go dark.
More than likely, no cell phones are going to work. Your vehicles will be dead.
Or safety of family members and lead to rash, dangerous decisions. You must establish a predetermined rally point where everyone knows to converge immediately if communication fails completely. For most families, this is the primary residence. If the event occurs during work or school hours,
we'll have to walk home.
Needs to know that their primary mission is to navigate their way home. You must also establish secondary and tertiary meeting locations in case your primary residence is compromised or inaccessible due to fire or structural damage. This might be the home of a trusted relative in a different part of town, or a prominent, easily identifiable public landmark.
All right, I'm going to stop this. So I touched on it, pretty much everything I wanted to touch on here. You know, the most important thing is to yeah, the most important thing here is to make sure you're ready. Get your homesteads going. Get your seeds. Get on So Right Seeds. Go to offgridwithdougandstacy.com. I will even put that in here. Like, order from So Right Seeds from their website. I would angle you guys to my website, but I don't have any links for anything like that right now. Go to their website. You will get a discount on seeds from their website. Okay? on So Right Seeds. I will also be ordering from rareseeds.com, from Baker's Creek, because I love a lot of what they offer. I can get, yeah, you know what? I could go to Amazon and order a lot of what they offer off from Amazon, but it would take forever to get them, and I would pay a lot more because they have to get it from third-party sellers, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to work on trying to get affiliate links like that, people that will collaborate with us. One of the things I'm really going to work on, and I'm actually going to start writing this out tonight, I want to do a homesteading conference this summer. Hopefully in August. I want to do it to where I'll do like some videos during the conference. But I would love to get our outdoor kitchen built for that. It's going to be a little difficult to do because, we have a lot of work to do on the property and on the house. So I think what I might do is work on getting our off-grid kitchen. What is going to be off-grid? Our outdoor kitchen built. And I'm going to have to get building permits, which is going to cost at least $200 or $300. I'm going to get our farm store structure and really work on getting, money coming in from the homestead, because we really need to be able to get this stuff done. I want to get our outdoor kitchen built. And hopefully before August, I could do that. And I mean, maybe what I could do is, even instead of doing some big thing, maybe what I can do is a one-day event. And, around the time that we have, garden stuff coming on and that kind of thing. Maybe what we can do is host a one-day conference or do it kind of like on a weekend. I'd have to get those weekends off. But like a Friday and a Saturday, twice out of the month, Not really Friday because people are working. Maybe a Saturday. A few Saturdays where we can take and, work on learning food preservation skills, that kind of thing. Maybe we can even, maybe I can host a one-day event, a one-day online event where, like in the spring, where I could teach you guys, go into like teaching you guys about beginning gardening and that kind of thing. So, because, I'm still learning too. I'm still trying different garden methods, that kind of thing. But I'm going to work on trying to put that together. If we can get our outdoor kitchen built, I'm going to try to do like a more extravagant thing on learning, on showing, and, you know, kind of going over and learning different, you know, more in-depth homesteading things. So anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and put on here our new Facebook group. Is called Homesteading and Gardening. Please look it up and join us. We will be sharing all kinds of tips and like recipes and ideas, and I also want it to be able to where we can like have it as a meetup, to where if somebody needs some certain farm animals, you know, we can connect through that group and choose a meetup place somewhere. You know, that's another thing I want us to be able to, you know, help teach other people on how to take care of animals and that kind of thing. And no, we have a lot going on our farm, on Faith First Farm, but we've got to get our goat barn up, but fixed up, set up for goats. We just have a lot on our plate. We got to get our orchard trees. You know, I'm really hoping I can. Oh my gosh. Boots, why? Why must you? Boots! Where did he just? Yes. You better not be back behind that thing. Boots, I swear to you. He annoys me. He really does. He annoys me. Yes, I have my blanket on my legs because it's so freaking cold. You better leave them alone. Cat. He's been fine all afternoon. Now all of a sudden he wants to try to ride the freaking kittens. The whole. Anyway, he's such a brat. And yeah, so you know, I want it to be kind of a thing that, you know, a group where we can use it as a meetup. Yeah. For acquiring needed farm animals. So anyway, so please check out our group and join. Well, that wasn't cool. That's not cool. Where's my group? Found it. Oh, there's 4 members already. Cool. I'm adding to this. Okay. Boots. So the description says, boots, no. That's not what it says. Homesteading and gardening is a group where people can share homesteading ideas, tips, farm markets, roadside farm stands, and really. I just realized I messed it up. Shoot. In stores, pictures, things going on your farms and homesteads, recipes, and especially to be able to learn new things and how to become a little more able to care for yourself and your family every day on your own. I also want this group to be a place where we can come to inquire about needed farm animals and who may have what is needed and be able to choose a place to meet up and acquire those farm animals. So, there we go. Probably add another post. Anyway, I should probably get off from here because I've been on for over 2 hours. But yeah, so I'm really gonna work on some kind of a conference. I really want to be able to start sharing information other than just this teaching, you know. And I'm not even claiming to be an expert. I'm some of the things I've learned how to do. 99% of the things I've learned how to do, I've learned how from other YouTube channels, websites, Pinterest, that kind of thing. So my knowledge is other people's knowledge, but I want to share that knowledge and teach other people how to do what I know how to do. So there we go. And I will definitely let you guys know more on that. And again, I need to get out from here because this is over 2 hours and people really don't like the lives being over 2 hours. I've got to try to cut the lives down more. I'll try to see if I can do that from now on to make it to where people are more willing to stick with them and watch them and that kind of thing. I know it doesn't help when I spring them on you guys, but anyway, I'll definitely let you guys know more on the homesteading conference. I'm definitely going to do a one-day thing a few times this summer. I'd like to do that a couple times this spring on teaching you guys on how to get your garden started. But I'm going to figure that out more. I've got to get our garden. Pray for us, because our property is a mess. So, excuse me. No, I don't want that to fall on the floor. You guys are a pain in my butt. I love you guys. My goodness. Why are you on my books? Boots, get down. Get off my books. Move. Thank you. Anyway. I'm going to get off from here, and I will see you guys in the next one. Definitely going to try to do part 5 tonight of the homesteading of the series, the new series. How do you become fully self-sufficient? And if I don't tonight, knock on wood, keep saying I'm going to get up early. I never do. I really need to. Well, tomorrow's Sunday. I could actually do it if I got up early. I only work until 10:30 tomorrow. I'll really try to get that up tonight. But I will see you guys in the next video, and you guys keep an eye on your subscriptions. Like and share, like and share, like and share, like and share, share. I can't stress it enough. Check out the homesteading and gardening group. There's not much on there right now, obviously. I'm going to work on getting some stuff on there tonight. And then we'll talk about the conferences as we go. So I will see you guys in the next video, and keep an eye on your subscriptions. Click on the notification bell, click on all to make sure you get all the notifications, and make sure you like and share the videos, share them on all your platforms with everybody you know. Get this information out there. It's going to save lives. It really will. Do your preps, do your chores, do your research, have some fun with your family, do some more research, and you guys get those homesteads going. Get the plans going, start planning your homestead, start planning your garden. Get online, rareseeds.com, offgridwithdougandstacy.com. All the way at the bottom of their shop tab, So Right Seeds, you'll get a discount. 15% discount, and get your seeds. Get your seeds. Make sure they're heirloom seeds. Just a little FYI, Dollar Tree, the seeds they carry, they are heirloom seeds. And I bought $30 worth of them about a week and a half ago. So we're getting there. And I will keep you guys updated, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.